So, hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for joining us for episode 51 of the Coach's Corner. Super exciting. I love doing these shows, guys. It's really fun and they're also very informative. And of course, whenever someone has an idea or has an awesome experience and they want to share it, you're always welcome to ask if you could be on the Coach's Corner as well. If you are a current user of IrisVision, thank you for being part of the IrisVision family. If you need any assistance with anything, you can always call into customer support. We have an awesome team there who can help you with any kind of troubleshooting you need. If you're not a current customer of IrisVision, you could reach out to our sales department. Our awesome sales team is always ready and happy to answer any questions you have about any of the products that we sell. Um, my name is Coach Myrna, and I'm joined by Coach James. What's up, James?
What's up? How you guys doing? Been a while.
It's been a while. It's been a while. James, for some of you that may not know, he also has participated in the Coach's Corner in the past in a series called Grillin' with James. Because, James, you love to grill, don't you?
Yep, grill and smoked meat. It's the grass. Now I said smoked meat.
Smoked
MEAT.
meat.
Don't get
Yes.
confused.
Right. And you do use your iris vision for those type of things too, right?
Yeah, quite a bit. For trimming the meat, I need it. I don't use it like for the detailed parts of how do I say it? Getting the grill started because I don't want to get it dirty, of course. But looking at my thermometers, I definitely have to use it. It's
Right.
gotten to the point where, you know how it goes.
Yes, for sure. And James, tell us why you have to use iris vision. What's going on with
I
your eye?
Well, I have cone dystrophy, which is very similar to Stargardt's, except I still have a lot of peripheral vision. It mainly attacks the cones, center of the eye. It's considered cone rod dystrophy, but I don't have the rod dystrophy. I have cone dystrophy, mainly the center. So I see better at night. I see,
Okay.
when lights are dim. If I go to the movie theater, when I get up from the movie theater, I can see pretty good because my eyes are still, you know, big and round for dark viewing with my peripheral going on.
Ah, gotcha.
That's what it's called, cone dystrophy. Very similar to Stargardt's.
And when were you
And
diagnosed with it?
I was diagnosed in 2016, I believe. I had 20/20 eyesight up until then.
Wow.
Just
Was
they
it
call it
a really,
onslaught. I had let me see, throughout school 20/20 eyesight, went to the Marine Corps, 20/20 eyesight, got out, went to school, started my career, and I don't know, about 9 years ago I had to medically retire because it started getting worse and worse. No way I could do my job. And had all kinds of testing done, and then they finally diagnosed me with cone dystrophy. And then I had genetic testing done. It's not genetic, so they call it onslaught. Just came on and had some autoimmune. I guess it's autoimmune. I had autoimmune testing done, and it pointed, towards an autoimmune disease.
okay.
Instead of it's
And
usually genetic, which is weird.
that's what I was going to say. Is it genetic typically? Okay. So yours
Yep.
wasn't necessarily genetic, right? Like you're saying it's onslaught. So is there any type of treatment for it right now, or do you know of?
No, they said my retina doctor tells me to hold off on having any kind of eye surgery done,
Okay.
and keep taking. There's some vitamins that help the macula, so on and so forth. But stem cell research is probably the leader, and I think they're getting there in Germany. That's from
Ah,
what I try to keep up with it. It gets discouraging. You hear one thing, you hear another, but stem cells
right.
research is probably going to be the key.
And I only ask because we do have a lot of clients that are always curious to know if there's any kind of treatments for their eye conditions or, just in the low vision community in general, we're always keeping our ear to the ground, right? To see if there's any kind of treatments available for our particular eye conditions. For those of you who may not know, I do have Stargardt's disease. Just like James was mentioning earlier, cone dystrophy is similar to Stargardt's. Um, but unlike James, I've had Stargardt's for 30 years. So I was diagnosed at the age of 12. And I know that there are some clinical studies right now for potential treatments for Stargardt's. If anybody is curious to know about that, go to clinicaltrials.gov. That's a very reputable resource there where you can go look and specifically search your condition, and it'll come up with all kinds of different treatments or trials that are going on, trials that are successful, trials that have failed. So depending on what you're looking for, you can check out clinicaltrials.gov. Have you heard of that website, James?
I sure have. There's another one, national nhs.gov. That'll take you to it also, and you can look up your type. So, like I said, there's so many. That's a good reputable one, though, Myrna, to really see what's going
NHS.
on. Yep.
Yeah, that's definitely a good one too. I know that a lot of people really, really look for some kind of solution as they're going through life, especially those who have lost their sight later on in life. Kind of like you, I guess, because you were actually driving, right? Do you still drive?
No, I don't drive anymore, but I was driving even after I got the diagnosis. They did suspend my license. I had to go to Viewfinder, and I saw Dr. Noon, and she fitted me with a bioptic that I used. And then Dr. Grandella bought the business, so now he owns Viewfinder, and then I would go see him yearly, every year. Had to go and get tested. You don't do your eye test at the DMV. You do it through your low vision eye doctor. And so he fitted me with another bioptic, which lasted for a couple years, and it's just got to the point to where my eye vision got a little worse to where I couldn't use a bioptic. So I think 3 years ago I quit driving.
Oh, wow. And
Yeah.
when James talks about a bioptic, guys, he's not talking about the bioptic mode on IrisVision. I know some of you may be like, "Hey, we have bioptic mode on IrisVision." No, as you know, right, James, as coaches, we always say, do not walk with the device on. It is not for driving. He's actually talking about a lens that is mounted onto your glasses, right, James?
Yeah, it's a whole periscope looking thing that gets mounted to a special, not just your glasses. It has to be a specific glasses because he has to fit the lenses too. So yeah, it's a prescription. It's an actual prescription that you have to get, not the bioptic on the device, even though that one's good, but no.
Right. That one is a good mode on
Mm-mm.
our regular device. Now, that kind of leads me into talking about being a coach. James, you mentioned that you went into the Marine Corps. Thank you for your service, first of all. And after the Marine Corps, you started your career and you had to medically retire. So, what was that experience like for you?
That was devastating. I mean, it was really hard. I kept thinking when it first started, I never needed glasses, and then I was using magnifiers, to look at my blueprints and stuff like that, because I was an electrical lead foreman slash project manager for a company, and it was getting real hard. I'd have to wear magnifiers, and then when the magnifiers didn't work, I said, "Well, it's time to go see the eye doctor." I'm seeing blurry, and that whole time, I mean, 9 months of testing it took for them to finally diagnose me. um, I'm thinking, oh, maybe there's a simple surgery or they're missing something, and then when I got diagnosed and told, it's probably going to progress, that was really hard to where, I couldn't do my job. I couldn't see the colors. I couldn't even, I didn't know about the devices that there was devices like there are now, like IrisVision, so on and so forth. Um, I just was in denial, getting second opinions, and like, yep, you have cone dystrophy. It's going to progress. So it was devastating when I first heard it. And then we come to the conclusion. I had to see a neuro-ophthalmologist to get the diagnosis, and she said, yeah, you're probably going to have to medically retire. And then that's when she told me about going and seeing a low vision to at least continue to drive. So I did that, but it was devastating news, Myrna. Really, like everybody knows, I'm sure a lot of people have been doing it. And I highly encourage anybody out there who hasn't seek a peer group. It helps so much talking to other people, that have been through it, that are going through it. Um, don't hide it, deal with it. And it's hard. It's really hard. I talk to clients, and you do too, daily, and just talking to them hearing that we also have, low vision. We're going through what they go through. I can hear it in their voice. It kind of, oh, you have what I have. You know what I'm talking about. I know exactly what you're talking
Right.
about.
Yeah, I get that all the time where people feel alone, people feel lost, people feel
Mhm.
like they're no longer able to be independent. And when they come to us for their coaching, we can not only help them learn how to use this piece of technology, but then also relate to what they're going through because we're going through it ourselves, right? So
100%.
that's really
Yep.
helpful. That's what I love about IrisVision and IrisVision's coaching process. I correct me if I'm wrong, James, but I'm pretty sure that there is no other company out there that offers the type of services we offer, particularly with the coaching process.
No, I don't
So
think there is.
yeah, and
I
I
don't think
think
there
that
is.
really sets us aside. Of course, we're not counselors, right? We're not psychologists by any
Yep.
means, but we are people who know exactly what you're going through. We both know what it is like to not be able to see the start button on your microwave, right?
Yeah.
Unless you memorize it. The wash cycle that you need on your washing machine. Little things like that a lot of sighted people take for granted. It's tough. That's a huge, like, what's it called? That's a huge barrier for us because we can't see those things. But through assistive technology like Iris Vision and others, we can be more independent. We may not have the same type of independence. And this is something I just told a client yesterday. We may not have the same independence, and I should not say we, because I never had that type of independence, but for someone like you, James, you may not have the same independence, but you still can be independent in a different way,
Yeah,
right? With,
for
of
sure.
course, with certain limitations.
Yes,
So,
of course.
how did you
You
feel,
you
James,
learn to
when,
do things. You learn to do things. You learn to manage,
right?
but that's why it's important to talk to other people, peer groups. They may have a secret that not a secret, but they may have been through it. I've learned so much of clients also, how they do things. I teach
Right.
them the device, and in turn, sometimes they tell me how like one client told me about a specific kind of golf clubs, that
Oh,
um, really help for low vision. I was ready to throw my other golf clubs away and just say goodbye.
mhm.
And he told me about the eye drives, and I was like, let me try those out. Sure enough, I can see the head of the golf club. You can colorize them, stuff like that. Little tricks, that work. Same like we
Yeah.
give you with the device, I trim meat, I trim brisket. I can see the fat in inverted mode, to trim it, you know, I can turn on, I can use bioptic for my thermometers, and we use all kinds of examples. I know you do too, Myrna, using the
Hmm.
device, telling clients little secrets.
Yeah, and that's really important because sometimes when we get clients, they're thinking, this is all I need, right? It says RP. I don't have RP, so I don't need that mode. It says reading yellow. I don't need reading yellow, so I'm not going to use that mode. And that's not necessarily the case, right? There are
Right.
all these different options with Iris Vision because they all serve a different purpose. You may not think that you need reading yellow. You may not like reading yellow or reading green. Have you had that, James, where people see that color and they're like, ugh?
Yep.
Immediately they're like rejecting it, right?
Yep.
But
Sure.
they're all
I don't want
helpful.
that on them.
Yeah, they're all helpful in lots of different ways. Sometimes these color filters can be useful for more than what just they're labeled for, which is reading. They can be useful for other things. Like James just said, he uses the reading dark or reading inverted, however it's easier for you to remember it. which is the black background with the white outline. He uses that to trim the fat off the meat, right? I had a client who just was so like, I don't know. And when he put the IrisVision on, he was like, oh my gosh, I could see. When I went over how the different color filters work, the next session that we had, he told me he was using reading green for everything.
Yeah.
And I know that not everybody uses reading green, but he was watching TV, he was looking at people's faces, he was just everything was in reading green because he liked it. So it's very important to keep an open mind. We have all these different modes for different reasons. And again, you may not want to use them or find that you don't really need them, and that's okay. But we always
Yeah.
encourage you to give it a shot, right, James?
Right. Right. Try different modes for different things. I was reading, what was it, National Geographic, good article about the pyramids. First of all, magazines are hard to read because of the glare. And I was so into it, and I had to get the last three paragraphs. I think I turned the page, and it was printed on the pyramid. I was like, oh, great. I couldn't see it in reading mode, couldn't see it see. So I went through, and sure enough, reading green, the contrast brought it out enough for me to finish. I was like, hey, found a use for it. So try different modes for different things. You never know.
Right, exactly. So I'm gonna circle back around, James, and uh kind of talk about the time that you had to medically retire. Did you think that you weren't going to be able to do anything after that, or did you have a plan? What did you do? What was it like?
No, I didn't really have a plan. I worked my whole life. You go through the shock and the grief, they call it. You know, I was used to getting up, getting in my truck, going to work every day before the sun came up, stuff like that. So there was a lot to deal with. And it takes a while, some people think that, oh, I've been, losing eyesight for a year, I'm good. No, man, seek help, just make sure. So I went through that. It took about 3 years for me to really deal with it. And then that's when I saw IrisVision, and I was like, hey, I can still see, if I get that, I can still do this and that. Looked into it, and sure enough, I ordered one, and Myrna was my coach, and I liked it. And I
Yeah,
kind of hinted to her, hey, if you ever need a coach, I'm not doing anything. So, and she ended up
yeah,
calling back. They called back a couple months later and offered me a job. And next thing you know, I had a job. I was like, what did I just do? But no, it's been nice. Fun.
yeah. So
So
for
that
those of
became my
you,
plan. I worked part-time with Myrna and Trisha, the other coach, and yeah, I like it. I like talking to clients. I like meeting the clients, and hopefully they get what we got out of it, right? Showing them the device.
right? And for those of you out there who think that, it's over if you've just come into sight loss and you're not a retiree or anything, you think it's over, it's not. There's lots of
No,
different things you can do in life. You can still participate, you can still contribute to society if you wish to. There's a lot of assistive technology out there to
there
choose
is.
from. IrisVision is absolutely one of the best pieces of technology. And I'm not saying that because I'm a IrisVision coach. Trust me, guys. Again, I'm also a user. I'm just saying it because it truly is. Like, I know that I cannot see my laptop computer, for example, without my IrisVision. Right now, I'm on my desktop computer. So if you guys could see what I'm seeing, like the screen is super magnified most of the time. Okay. I have it very zoomed in. But if I'm traveling, I have to use my IrisVision to be able to see my laptop so that I can enter my notes or do whatever it is I need to do for my job. But it is possible to get out there and work. And yes, I remember, James, when I worked with you with your IrisVision, and I was like, when I was looking for a coach, I'm like, I know exactly who I want to call. And here you are, and you've been with us how long, James?
4 years, a little over 4 years.
4 years. See,
Yep.
and I've been with the company for going on 6 years in November. So that's really exciting. And same thing for me. I mean, I've been an entrepreneur most of my life. I've done the massage therapy kind of stuff because, figured that was the easiest thing to do because it's hands, right? It's all hands on. Um, And it turned out it was difficult for me to do the
Mhm.
documentation at the time. I didn't have the knowledge of all the different tools that were out there then. But I can tell you right now, if the tools that are available now were available then, that wouldn't have been a problem.
Right,
But
right.
I've done financial services, and now I'm doing, IrisVision. I'm a parent. James, you're a parent, right?
Okay. Yep,
Well,
I
how's it
sure
been
am.
being a parent as a sighted person and then now as a partially sighted person?
Well, it's been kind of a blessing in disguise. At first I was like, I can't play catch with my son and, play catch with my other son or do this or that. But at the same time, it allowed me to spend more time with them. I wasn't waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, getting to work by 5:30, so on and so forth. So, a little has changed. I'm not going to say it's easier or anything like that because it's not. It's harder, but you learn to do things. You learn to overcome it. Your kids, oh, they know, don't hide anything from them. Tell them you need help. Reach out. That's the main thing I had problems with is asking for help any way, shape, or form. And it doesn't hurt if you're at the store or something, you need help with something. Hey, what does this say? I can't really see it. Ask. And my kids have kind of filled that void. They know when they're with me that they can help guide me a little bit, especially on those super bright days, right?
Mm-hmm.
And um, yeah, it's been a challenge, but it doesn't take away from your parenting. It really doesn't. You still can parent to the best of your ability, which is great. It doesn't
Right.
take anything of that away. You just got to learn to do things a little different. My
I was
kids
gonna
like to
say it's
joke
just
and
different,
hide.
right? It's
Yeah,
just different.
exactly. You do it a different way. Correct. Adapt and overcome. That's the motto of the Marine Corps.
Nice. Um, for me, I was already legally blind, and I was a parent when they were babies, newborns. That was a
Yeah.
little challenging. That was a tough one with diapers and everything,
Oh,
you know.
wow.
Yeah, it was tough, but we did it. My daughter is now going to be 17 soon, and my other daughter is going to be 13 soon. And um, when my oldest was about 19 months or so, she was already reading. Of course, not like reading novels, right? But she was able
Mhm.
to recognize letters and words and things like that. And it was because I always needed help to see where, for example, where the bathroom is. I showed her the symbol for the bathroom, and I'm like, okay, which one's the women's and men's? So she knew how to identify letters at a very young
Oh,
age.
gotcha.
Yeah, and
Very good.
sometimes she would like scramble the letters around, so I'd had to unscramble them to see what word it is that she was looking at. But that was really helpful for me. And then when they learned to walk, I had little bells on their shoes, so
Nice.
I'd always know where they were. But again,
Nice.
we adapt, we overcome, we work with our situation as best as possible, right?
Yep. Yep.
And I'm just really, really glad that there is technology out there, like IrisVision. My first experience with IrisVision was a demo, and I was able to see my daughter's face, my oldest daughter's face, for the first time, like in real
Yeah.
time, like showing emotions, and that was
Hmm.
really cool. So,
The old wow moment, right?
yeah, absolutely. So, thanks, James, so much for taking the time
Well,
to chat with me today. I think that your story is very impactful, and I know that it's going to be an inspiration for someone out there who maybe is in the same situation as you, where it's later in life, but not so much later in life, where they've, you know, lost their sight or are coming into some sight loss. So, thanks so much for sharing that. Of course,
my
as
pleasure.
coaches, and of course, as coaches, talking about how we use the device, how we help others use the device. I hope that
Yep.
those of you out there watching and have IrisVision have a little more knowledge of how you can use your device. Going to close out with a pro tip. We haven't done these in a while, James. Pro tip. So
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about the IrisVision remote control, for the 2.0. Okay, the 2.0 remote control has a joystick on it, and it has like a quadrant of buttons on it. And at the very top, there's a button as well. So this is what your 2.0 remote control should look like. Okay, if it doesn't look like this, no worries. You could always call into customer support and they can help you out with that. But when you power on the remote control, the only button you have to push is the one directly below the joystick on the right-hand side. You just press and hold it until you see a little light flash. You don't hold it for a long time, just until you see the little light turn on, and then you let it go. And then you just wait. James, I don't know about you, but I get a lot of clients who tell me that they've been clicking the button and clicking the button and
Yeah.
nothing's happening. And I'm like, you just need to wait. Be patient. Eventually, the
Yeah.
device will say remote controller connected. Those are the magic words, remote controller connected. So just to kind of help out there with any confusion with the remote control, it does take time. How long, James, do you think, roughly?
5 to
Sometimes
8 seconds, maybe a little longer. It will
yeah, sometimes
connect though. If you see
immediate,
it
sometimes
flashing, just yeah, I always tell them if you see it flashing, just leave it. It'll connect. Give it a minute. Probably less
yeah.
than that, but it
Yeah,
takes
maybe
time.
like 30
How
seconds or
long?
so,
Yeah,
something like that. But yeah, that's how you control I'm sorry, connect the remote control to the headset for live 2.0. Okay, you just press that button, be patient, wait, don't continuously click it because you'll be turning it on and off and on and off and on and off.
that's all you'll
So,
be doing. Turning the light on, turning it off. Be
right.
patient.
Yes. So that's how you connect the remote control to your IrisVision 2.0. I hope this pro tip helped you out today, guys, for those of you who are users of the Live 2.0. Again, thank you, James, for joining me today on the Coach's
My
Corner.
pleasure.
I look forward to chatting with you again soon on another episode of the Coach's Corner. In the meantime, remember, you can always call in to IrisVision. Go to our website. That's irisvision.com. You can see all kinds of information there if you're not ready to call in. Again, all the information is on our website for customer service, for sales. So you'll be able to either email or phone call. Again, whether you're calling sales or customer support, it's a great team. They're always ready to help you and answer any questions that you might have. In the meantime, we'll catch you next time. Thanks so much, guys. Bye-bye.
Hey guys.